Ladies and gentlemen, bass players around the world, bass players right here in the basement. Welcome to the basement. That's BASSMINT. And we got with us a young, fine bass player. Tell us your name.
Rod Gaston.
Rod Gaston. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right. I'm blessed.
Welcome to the basement. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Again. Look, I want to do this interview with you. You know, I asked her, like, hey, man, you mind if I interview you? He said, yeah, he'd be honored and everything. But before we get to that, I want to introduce all of these other bass players in the house, starting to my left. Tell us your name, sir.
Dave Perkins.
Dave Perkins, basement alumni as far as coming to check us out. But we hadn't interviewed him yet, but that changes today, folks, so stand by for his interview as well. Also next to him,
Chris Snyder.
Chris Snyder, another basement alumni, but
Yes, sir.
we hadn't did an interview with him yet.
Eventually.
We get to him eventually.
Yes.
And then on my right, we got, tell us your name.
Mike Rich.
Mike Rich, a basement alumni. Even brought food and catering. And Mike done a whole bunch of stuff in the basement for us. Thanks for doing all that, brother, and thanks for coming back. Even though you ain't got no bass in your hand. Oh, it's sitting over there. Okay. No, it's too late now. It's too late now. Next to him, tell us your name.
Orlando Rue.
Orlando Rue. Not Orlando, but Orlando.
That is correct.
It sounds Spanish. I swear I want to say that in Spanish. Orlando.
A lot of people do. That's right.
And you ain't got no bass either. What's up with that?
I am not a bass player.
Well, what you doing in the basement then?
You invited me and I came. That's right.
Oh, okay. What do you play?
I'm trying to play guitar. Learning how to play guitar.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We learned how to play bass.
Exactly. That's awesome. I know he doing good on the guitar because that's one of my students. And when y'all hear him, y'all want to be guitar players gonna say, oh, I want some lessons too. Hopefully. So don't let me down, Orlando.
I won't.
Next to him, tell us your name.
Libby Pallickberry.
Libby Pallickberry, a basement alumni who has been interviewed. So y'all need to go check out her interview. It was an awesome interview. In fact, he said, hey, didn't I see you in the basement on your interview? So that's cool. I know at least one person who watched it. And next to her is, tell us your name.
Reginald Canty.
Reginald Canty, the owner and founder of the basement. Literally, this is his basement in his house. Mm-hmm. So thank you, Reggie, for letting us all come and hang out in the basement. And I'm big-eyed, but I don't show my face. I really ain't showing it today because I broke my tooth, and I just can't have y'all seeing that today. So, in fact, it's like one of my front teeth is when I say stuff that start with F, like, you know, I'm trying to teach lessons, I'm saying like the 5th fret, and it's all air, you know what I'm saying? That tooth is very important, those front teeth is... So I'm gonna get that fixed and then I'll show my face. Sorry about that, Rod.
It's all good.
Well, look, man. Welcome to the basement again, man. I remember last time you were here, and we talked a little bit, and then I heard you play. I was like, he pretended like he just started yesterday, and then when I heard him, it's like he was killing it, and he wasn't even plugged up, and I could tell.
Wasn't it?
So we're gonna get into that, but the first question I'd like to ask you is, when did you start playing the bass, and why?
I started playing the bass around 15 or 16 in high school, and honestly, it was out of jealousy of one of my good friends that played guitar.
So you picked the bass because he played guitar?
Well, what happened was that when we took band in high school, he was playing bass and I was playing lead, and I couldn't really do the chords. Like I always have to keep my fingernails clipped, and that was kind of a pet peeve. I'm like, I can't do the chords. And one day we were doing a song, C Jam Blues, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, the bass just sounds so great. I'm like, no, it's not. It's really not. So I was just like, I can do that. So my uncle that would pick me up, he had like a small scale practice bass at home, and I guess that was when I found out I could remember most songs and music just from hearing. And I pretty much just sat there and kind of like internalized what the song was. And when I went back the next day, I was showing my teacher. I was like, Mr. So-and-so, I can play the song. And ironically, my friend Matt wanted to switch to lead, so we just decided to switch around 10th grade.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome that y'all had that in school too. That you can play electric guitars and basses. Mm-hmm. And so how long you think you've been playing now?
I'll be 29 this year, so what's that,
about 12 years? 12, 13 years. Yep. Now, when you started playing that bass, when did you really get to, I love this and I'm going to stick with this as opposed to going back to the guitar? When that happened? What
happened was when I heard it. So, that song that just kind of, I believe the keyboardist that you had at the last round tape, I think his name was Dean something.
Yeah, Dean Strong.
And it was a song by Marcus Miller called Power. I didn't even know what the instrument was. It was just a jazz bass, which I asked. I forget your name, sir. Dave. Yeah. I was like, what year's the Fender? Because just roll worn Fenders. It's just I just know that it's the 70s, and Marcus had still plays his 1977 Fender jazz bass, and I want one so bad. And that was when I was like, a guitar can't sound like this. I'm not playing that anymore.
Right. And so that was about how long after you first started playing when you just like
that was probably around maybe a few months, because my old friend, he was still listening to different kinds of music, and he was like, hey man, check this song out. And I think that was the first time that I actually really heard, felt, and paid attention to slap bass.
You got any slapping skills yourself?
I could try and play that song. Let's see.
You still remember it?
Sloppy, but
right. But that sound like Marcus Miller, and I'm taking it. That's one of those songs that even if you had amnesia, you still remember how to play that, right?
Every last note, man.
Because I got a few songs like that from when I started playing. It's like I'll never forget them, how to play them. And that bass you sound awesome. What kind of bass that you got right there?
This is a BASSMINT K534 bass, 5-string bass.
Yeah, you like it?
I love it.
Sharp.
I love it. I actually had another one, but I actually sold it to a very, very dear friend by the name of Larry Lee. So if you guys ever catch Larry Lee playing a black BASSMINT bass with a maple barrel top, that's one that I sold him.
Yeah, Larry Lee, a BASSMINT alumni.
Yes, sir.
NFL alumni too. And what kind of strings you using on it? Because you know everybody to watch this going, wow, I want to sound just like him. What kind of strings do you use?
These are actually the Dunlop Marcus Miller strings. So yeah, I like the sound that they give. They have nice bottom, nice clarity. I dig them.
Okay, now last time you were here, I asked you what kind of strings that you had on there. You had on some what? Some steels?
Yep, same ones.
Oh, those are the Dunlop steels.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like GHS strings myself. If you can see that banner behind you.
All right.
You know, I really like GHS strings, but those steels. When I played it, I think I tested it out last time, and I knew right away what those strings were because I had some myself, and they real good for thumping and stuff and brightness. You know, I don't know. So let me get back to asking you some more questions, man. Why are you elevating your bass skills to the level that you elevate them? Because you ain't just a regular old bass player like most of us. You like trying to step your game up. I know this because I see it when you play. I'm sure when you play in regular songs, you do what you got to do, but you still trying to step your level up as a bass player. And I like to ask you why you continuously stepping your game up on this instrument.
I really I was kind of thrown into the whole music singing because there's no bass players in my family. There's I have a few cousins that are drummers and keyboardists, but I feel like like once I started playing with bands and playing out, and I see how everyone comes together, no matter the color, religion, faith, what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of food you eat, everybody just comes together, and it's just positivity, and I love that. I love being around people. And then if you've ever just seen a whole lot of people, like at concerts, it's just positive, and then the rush playing in front of people, it's like, I want to say that's what I live for, but I'm still trying to get to where I can travel the world and bring that same vibe to everybody and just help us to just come closer.
Well, I feel like you're on your way because some of the people you hang out with or get to hang out with is like some of the best in the industry. Like I saw a picture of you with my boy Kern, and he was like happy to hold your bass and stuff.
The Funk Master.
And for those who don't know who Kern is, that's Kern Brandley, formerly of Lady Gaga, Beyonce, Neo. I'm not gonna go on and on.
Everybody.
Yeah, he didn't play with everybody, but his current gig now is with the David Foster. So he just keeps on doing it. And then other up and comers like Bino, I know you hang out with him. So your skill levels, you trying to on the bass, you trying to what kind of stuff you practicing now? To just like I want to do this. I just want to do that. Ooh, I want to put this under my fingers. What are you practicing to get better?
Honestly, what I'm really trying to practice is feel. And as a bass player, like when I first started, I was, ooh, Marcus, ooh, slap, blah, blah, blah. But once I really started to listen to what a band was playing, I realized what the role of the bass was. Because when I first started, I hated playing the bass, actually. Because I was like, wow, it's so boring, it's so repetitive. And there's a few songs that just where, like, when I hear it, and how the bass just complements the entire song. It's almost like it's like an entire, I don't even know what you call it, but I'm like, oh my God, that just feels so good. And one of the songs when I first started is by Detroit's own Kim. It's called Inside. It was almost like a salsa kind of song, but it was just so smooth, and it could have probably even been Al Turner that had
probably was Detroit's own Al Turner, Al the Burner Turner on bass.
Yep. And another one is by Kim Burrell. It's called Since Jesus, and I believe playing that was Maurice Fitzgerald. This just, and you have to be aggressive with playing with her, but I mean he was just in the pocket. I mean if he was any deeper, he'd be playing from China. So it's just trying to approach feel, and there's also one more person that I never really gave the perfect recognition, but it's James Jamerson. I mean, I've listened to oh man, I forget that song. He has a song, I believe it's called Save the Children, and I had never heard like the bass just accompany the song like that, man. And he has another one called Flying High, and we all can just go, mother, mother, doo-doo-doo. We all know that song, but if you guys get a chance to check out Flying High in the Friendly Sky by Marvin Gaye, as well as Save the Children by Marvin Gaye, and just pay attention to James Jamerson. Flying High, I think that song is maybe only about 4 minutes. I still have not learned it yet, because I'm just trying to just capture all of the nuances that he's doing that just makes the song feel great.
Dude, speaking of bass players, who are some of your favorite bass players, and if you don't know the name, mention the band, you know what I'm saying?
I can actually start with Detroit, some of my good friends. You got CJ Alexander, who's now playing with Faith Evans. He's played with Tony Braxton and Bino. His real name is Bernard Brinkley. You got Brandon Rose, Brandon Ferguson, Michael Taylor, Rob Skinner, Ryan Davis, John Lavelle. Like, all of those guys are complete monsters, and they make me want to be better, to where I can just say that, Detroit is where it's at. Detroit has, you've got Chicago, you've got Philly, you've got California, but Detroit has we are the land of bass players. And going outside of Detroit, you can go to Marcus Miller, Stanley Clark, Victor Wooten. And then from Memphis, Tennessee, this young guy by the name of Mono Neon, aka Dwayne Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
He was really how I felt that I wanted to approach bass, but not sound like him, because everyone is going to naturally have their own sound. But the way that Dwayne Thomas Jr. approaches bass is like no limits. Let people dislike what you're playing first, and then the people who like it, just keep playing for them, and of course, you've got Kern, you've got who are some other people? Joe Cleveland, young guy that's now playing with Miguel, used to play for Nick Jonas. Sid Mitchell, drummer for Nick Jonas. Jocko still gotta give him all of the recognition, because if there would be no Jocko, there would be no Marcus Miller, no Stanley, no anybody.
Yeah, okay. You name quite a few, and I recommend for you bass lovers, go do some research. It's easy now, just Google.
Yeah.
If you can't spell, ask Siri. Hey, on Google it's somebody else though. It's not Siri. Google
it is and all.
Google is just like, okay Google, who is so and so. You know what I mean? And so look, who do you currently play with? And I mean, for the last 10 years, who have you been playing with? Multiple bands, or you been sticking with one band, or what?
I've been sticking with mainly just two. And for that list of bass players, can't forget Snoop. He's like the godfather of Detroit. Okay, but
That's Alan Snoop Evans,
Alan
the
Snoop
second.
Evans. So if you just get Snoop, go okay Google Snoop bass. There you go. But I currently play for this one band. One of the bands is One Freak. That's ONEFREQ. And we're like an indie, little pop, little funk, a little marmalade gel of everything. And we were blessed enough to have played at Shane Park in June a few months ago. We opened up for Gregory Porter. Gregory Porter is a phenomenal performer.
Is that the dude that always wear a hat on his a hat with
I don't even know what you call it. It's like a scub cap, maybe like a skidoo thing.
Yeah.
I heard that he has like a medical condition, so it was just for his own personal safety.
Okay.
So that was this year. We traveled to South by Southwest earlier, and I believe that was early March to Austin, Texas. Did some things down there. We actually played at Shane Park again last year. We opened up for Erykah Badu, phenomenal, fun show. And one of the other bands is I played for a young lady by the name of Dominique Rhodes. Well, she's married now, so it's Dominique Campbell, but her artist name is Neek Love Rhodes, and she's a hip hop artist. It's like a mix between like inspirational hip hop and positive hip hop. I'm actually performing for her later on down at Artist Village at 6:30. So if you guys want to come, if you guys have the time. And the church I play at is Impact Church. I forget the address, but it's on the corner of Elmdale and Dickerson on the east side, right off of like 94 and Chalmers area. Like between Connor and Chalmers. You can take Connor up, 94. Take Connor to Harper, head east, then you can make a left on to Dickerson and take Dickerson to Elmdale, and it's right on the corner.
Well, we can ask Google where the
Once again, you beat me to it. Yep.
Okay, so that's awesome, man. Opening up, you got these. I've opened up for that you can put on your resume, and who you've played with on your resume. Are you trying to get bigger on this bass? Maybe what's your endeavors and stuff on the bass guitar? What you trying to do?
My endeavors. Excuse me. First of all, I would like to say that music isn't mine. It's not anyone's. It's for everyone. So I hope to inspire young bassists. Female, male, black, white, Middle Eastern, do it if you feel it, get with a group of people, if you want to go the management route, make sure that, you and your management is like this, because, we've all heard horror stories about management and people, artists rather. Me, I really would just like to travel, meet people, experience different cultures, maybe learn some languages, just things about, about the world that I haven't, seen yet. But even if that doesn't happen, I still thank God every day that, I've came this far.
Okay, and so if it does happen, which if I can give you my input, I see it happen. I see you getting a phone call one day and you're going to have a tough decision to make about some of the people that you're currently playing with for a few months or 6 months or so. What you do then? You take that opportunity or what? Depending on what it is?
I would say yes, because everybody that I'm with, as far as One Freak and Neek Love Rhodes, we're all chasing after the same dream. We've talked about what our goals are. That doesn't mean that the family is broken up. If it's anything, we can take it as a learning experience, and then when we come back home, like I've networked with this person, I've networked with this singer, So, once the tour is done and everybody else from that group goes and do, their own separate thing, we can come back home, regroup, and head back out and do the same thing again.
Yeah. Do you practice to get better? You know what I'm saying? As a bassist, I mean, do you want to be able to improvise and kill like Federico Melloman or?
Oh my gosh, I don't know how I forgot him, man. Like guys like, so speaking of Federico, Robert Bubby Lewis.
Oh, from Flint.
Yes, from Flint.
A Detroit bass player.
Yep, and Justin Raines plays with Israel and a whole bunch of other gospel artists. Those guys, man, they have what to me is like singing when they play. And I know bass is only bottom and pocket and fill, but to me, I can't sing, but I love to sing. I love chords. I love melodies, and those guys when they improvise, it's just effortless, and you can also toss in Hadrian Farad. They when they play, man, it's almost like you can just flip the keyboard over, kick the drums over, tell the horns to just put everything out, and you just sit and listen to them, man. And it's not even to just be like a one-man band. That's one thing that I aspire to have, and it's just.
Are you working on it?
Yeah.
Are you working on your solo chops?
The only thing about that is I think I need a teacher, but one hump that I'm still trying to get over is comparing myself to everyone, like everybody that I just named. I love them dearly, but I'm always like, man, I wish I can just, play, do that fast lick like Snoop, or, do that crazy chord like, Mono Neon, and, so it's always, little personal humps with I guess you could say the physical humps that I'm trying to get over.
Are you, I mean, literally, I don't care if you do the exact same lick as one of them, you still ain't gonna be them. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? You gonna be you.
Absolutely.
And then nobody's gonna take that. I don't think nobody's gonna say, "Oh, that was you stole that from Marcus Miller," or "You stole that," or which we do steal from those people because that's our job. That's what, we stand on the shoulders. So what? We steal them from them. But I mean,
Larry Graham.
Everybody has got something from there.
Yes. So I mean, are you working on them? Do you have exercises? Because I've seen some of the stuff you do. Them just ain't regular old things. Do you have exercises that you do for improvising or what?
Well, I have one for chords that it's really, really simple. I actually saw this off of YouTube. It was posted by Justin Raines, and it's just like a chord inversion of the one chord. So if we're in G, G7. So
G major 7 or
Yes,
G7?
G major 7. Sorry about that. Still need to work.
Because I'm a teacher. I can't have that.
I need to be coming to you then. So G major 7, and you take those same three notes. So that's a G, then a D, and then the B on top. Then you can put the B at the bottom, and then have the G in the middle, then the D on top.
Inversions.
That's exactly what it is. But it's like if you're in the moment, then you kind of you just it sounds a lot more than what it is, and it's like when I hear those guys doing things like that, and they just say that it's just nothing but
isn't that crazy? Anybody have any questions for this fine bassist?
As far as fusion, what is the difference between fusion and jazz itself?
I feel like, to me personally, I'm not an expert, so don't judge me.
Right.
I know when I was listening to Marcus Miller, he his foundation is jazz, well, classical, but mostly jazz, and he and there's some songs that he kind of labeled fusion. So I would say, in most jazz, I would say, how would you call it? I guess maybe bands. There would be guitar, but it would probably be classical. It would be like an acoustic with like nylon strings. So I guess it would be what you bring to that. And Marcus, for a while, he had what's the guitarist's name? Dean Brown, absolute monster. Dean Brown, you know, he would bring a little distortion. You know, he would still, you know, play the chorus and play the song, but when he broke out, you know, distortion, riffs, you know, Bubby Lewis modes, you know, and so that's what I think fusion is. It's like I would call it aggressive jazz. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, now for those, that question was sponsored by the guy standing in the back right there, who wasn't here for the introduction earlier. Buckaroo Holmes, another Detroit bass player, and also who snuck in quietly this time is John Sargent, because John usually make an entrance. He had cowbells and everything on.
Doing an interview with Ed Tate one time, and I didn't know it. And I just walked in late, and I just sat up front, and just got all in.
Right, all doing it, and I think I left that in there too, didn't I?
I think you did, yeah.
Because we keep it real down here. And also who showed up, another alumni, all three of these are alumni, by the way, is, tell us your name.
Cynthia Willis.
Cynthia Willis. It's been a long time I ain't seen you. Welcome back to the basement.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Rod, or Roderick, as I see on Facebook.
Roderick is, sends chills down my stomach. like my stomach just instantly goes.
Well, that's what it looked like though. But I guess it's Roderick.
Yeah.
So you should change that O to an A, and then they can't mess it up.
I told my parents, I'm like, what are you guys doing to me? So, yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for the fine bass player?
Not a question, but just a statement about improvising. When you say you don't want to sound like anybody else, you know, I was just going to say, just work on who you are, because that's what I've been doing. I'm a guitarist, basically, but I fool with bass, too. And my mentors, whether they're known out of Kenny Burrell, Grant Green, Jim Hall, and John McLaughlin, as much as I like those guys and I try to play like them, I don't worry about trying to play all their licks. Everybody say, you ought to play like Benson, you ought to do this, or Wes. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm working on John Sargent, whoever John Sargent is. So, Roderick, work on who you are.
Yes, sir.
You like the people you like, and you're going to try to use some of their stuff, like all of us. Like we stole from Larry Graham, some of us stole Jocko stuff, whomever. But eventually, it's all going to be you, so work on you.
Yeah, and
you got down in Ferndale. I was there for the
You were there. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad that you came.
Y'all was get down.
Thank you.
And you just trust this guy. This guy can improvise is behind. You probably seen an episode or two with him in there, right? So you know what he's talking about. Anybody else got a question for this bass player?
I had a quick question.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a favorite genre that you like to play?
It might be funk, man.
Okay.
I just can't get away from it.
And did you start, like when you first started playing, was that your love? And you just...
Actually, I take that back. I would say it's a mixture between funk and jazz. Jazz is just soul. You know, jazz has church, soul, R&B, because that's where they get it from.
Okay.
But funk is just something about a good rock, man.
That's basically fusion.
See, that's why I think that's why I was so drawn to Marcus Miller, because the more that I listened to him, I grew as far as a bass player, because you know Marcus, you know, he has other guys that can do, you know, tricks and stuff. You know, you got Victor, you know, with the the double thump and stuff, but Marcus, man, his compositions were just beautiful, and I love beautiful music, you know. And then, you know, he can get aggressive, throw some Dean Brown in there, and then he'll still have horns on top of Dean Brown soloing, and it's just like, wow, like it would put me in the mind of like a painting. You know, you can have a foundation, splash of colors here, splash of colors there, but the focus is always on the main portion. That's why I love Marcus, because he made me see what the bass does with a band rather than what I would do by myself.
So when's your first funk album gonna be?
I wish it was yesterday, but you know, I'm still trying to get over the hump of coming up with some things. I have just a bunch of videos on my phone, you know, some to where I'm not even plugged up. I'll just be like, okay, I think that sounds cool. Just, you know, just simple stuff. And then like sometimes I'll just be like, you know, I want to play something funky, so I'll just play it. But as far as like, you know, my skill of making like entire songs, I would say that will be the next thing that I'm working on.
Take your time with that too, because Weather Report, Joe Zawinul, what he would do, he would just set up his keyboards, turn on his recorder, and just start playing.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't have no compositions in mind or nothing, but he'd go back and listen to it. And what he would end up doing is going through and listening to all his recordings, and he'd pull off stuff that he would like. I mean, the Heavy Weather album was one example. Everything he pulled off of his stuff that he had done just jamming with, that ended up being the songs on that album. He has canisters of stuff that he hadn't even gone back and listened to yet. Mm-hmm. Just riffing, not even thinking. I mean, yeah, every now and then he would come up with a true composition, mm-hmm. but just sit down and jam. And so you go back and listen to all your stuff, you might hear something, oh, I kind of like that, and be able to work with it. So don't worry about composing. That comes.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually pretty much, I don't have my cell phone with me, but that's pretty much what I do, because I'm inspired from everything, from the small things, from like a commercial, mm-hmm. Just enjoying like a really nice day. I might just start humming out of nowhere. Then I'll be like, okay,
that's
wait,
how it works.
Let me go back in the house and record that. And so next time I need to get me a cell phone with a lot more gigabytes, because I'm at my max now.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Another thing is put the clothes in the dryer and go listen from a different room upstairs, and you will hear a song. I guarantee you'll hear a song.
Or you will hear a church beat. That's a dryer.
I'm dead serious. I am dead serious. You hear music in the dryer, the washing machine. I've heard songs.
That is so true.
I want to ask you want a real song? Get on the bus and listen to what's going on.
Oh my God, so much stuff. Sometimes even when me and my beautiful lady, we'll just go to the water.
And she is beautiful.
And just listen to, you have birds over here, you know, you have the water doing something, then you might hear some jet skis to just splash a little something on top, and then they go back out the horizon. To me, it's everything.
Exactly. Everything is an inspiration.
Yeah.
Every single last thing, not just even the stuff you forget, is an inspiration. You know what I'm saying? That's
true. That's good.
So, look, I ain't want to keep you, man. But before I let you go, did anybody else have any questions for him?
How come you didn't bring that songbird? No, go ahead.
No, I just said, what kind of amps you use?
I heard you actually talking about TC earlier. That's what I'm using. I have their RH 750 bass head, mm-hmm. and I have the Rebel Stack, the 210 and the 212.
Oh, okay.
Why? Why did you get that?
Lightweight, and when I first got them, I had a itty bitty Pontiac Grand Am, man. For me to pack these legs in there, you know, it's tough, because I had a previous friend of mine had like some were they JBL subs or something? It was just like a little box in there. I didn't like to have bass really loud, but I love to feel it. So I couldn't have a lot in the trunk, so I would always pack stuff in the back. So, but now I have a truck. Thank you, God. So TC, it's compact. It's really clean too. But some other companies that I used to have and mess around with is EBS. There's a guy that actually helped Mono Neon to come out of his shell. His name is Jackie Clark from Memphis. Jackie Clark is a phenomenal bassist, just an all-around great guy. But yeah, EBS and TC.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. I'll cut that part out. I thought you used EBS because you saw Marcus Miller with it. It's like if Marcus,
But you caught that though.
yeah, I'm like if Marcus Miller is using it, it must be worth. You know what I'm saying?
It was. I mean, I remember when I seen Marcus when he came to the Jazz Cafe inside of the music hall one day, and I went for my birthday, and he had the same exact setup, but just like you said.
Is that the show that Brandon Rose played with him on?
Which show has not Brandon Rose played with? But he did, and
did you get to meet Marcus? Shake his hand?
I actually met Marcus before that, back in 2007, I believe, 2006 or 2007. Kim, I know this is off subject, but Kim had a teen talent search, and I actually, long story short, I came in first place for the musicians, and the song that I did was a song that I used to play all day, every day, and it was called Panther, off of, I believe it's the Sun Don't Lie album.
Let's hear it.
I haven't played that one, but I will play one more Marcus tune just to take us out. Kim said, great job, and I went backstage and I called Marcus. The reason why I played a Marcus Miller song is because I had the album Silver Rain, and Marcus had, and Kim was, I believe, one of the background vocalists. So I was like, so if 2 + 2 is 7, then that means that I'm going to play this song since Kim more than likely knows Marcus. So
yeah, Kim and Marcus gonna be there, right?
yep, and he brought Marcus, and I've never been the type to be starstruck. All I seen was that black pork pie hand. I was so I met him, and he was the greatest guy, man.
He know who you are now. If he run into you,
he might think I'm Brandon Rose. Cause I'm light skinned, but he remembered me. Actually, I believe it was the Jazz Cafe gig.
That's cool, man. Well, like I said, I ain't want to keep you, so before you play us out, it's good that you know Kim, man. You keep networking. You might get that gig with him. You might get the gig with so and so. They might recommend. You know what I'm saying? And it might be somebody watching this and like, you know what? I want to hire the guy. So how could we get a hold of you if we wanted to hang out with you, keep up with you, all that good stuff?
I have Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is my first and last name. That's Roderick Gaston, RODERRICK, last name Gaston, GASTON. And Instagram, it's my first and last name as well. It's all lowercase with a underscore in between my first and last name. That's RODERRICK underscore Gaston, GASTON.
And you got any YouTube stuff?
I used to put YouTube vids up a long time ago. I need to get me a GoPro. I'm gonna give me one of the ones that'll clamp on here. I'm gonna try and get all of my rehearsals and gigs to just, I guess try and stay relevant.
Okay, and we'll sure do that, man. Since I found out your name, I've been watching some stuff and enjoy it as well. So, with that said, is there anything you like to say in closing before you play us out?
Give thanks and honor to God always, 24/7. Aim for the stars and stay positive.
All right.
Very good.
Well, play us out. Roderrick, or as I like to call him, Rod.
Let's see.
Play us something now, brother, so we can let you go to your gig.
Try and maybe do something funny. Oh no, my hands on this actually.
We don't call that the hot seat for nothing.
Right. Let's see.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.